Back up with the Sports Authority. We're joined by Mr. Emmett Edwards and Chairman J.D. Elliott. Mr. Edwards, if you would, please just make any comments you have on the budget, and then we'll open it up to Q&A for the committee.
Well, thank you for inviting us to participate in today's budget hearing. As Chairman of the Sports Authority, I want to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude shared by our 13-member board for the support we received from the Metro Council and also from the Metro government staff. Our response to your support is to continue to find ways to contribute to the economic health of our community, as demonstrated by the tremendous number of jobs that we have at LP Field and the Bridgestone Arena. We have great management of both facilities, and we feel confident that they're working very diligently to market and to create more events in our centers. And I'm going to stop there and let you know that we have a very capable director, executive director, Emmett Edwards, who works very diligent with the board and with Metro government. And Emmett's going to present our budget and hopefully answer a lot of the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman McGuire has given me marching orders, and those are to talk about the budget and then exit stage right. He whispered that to me. I'm going to follow the chairman's direction by saying we want to congratulate Nashville on hosting the CMA Festival, music festival that's taking place this afternoon. I've heard earlier people here talk about the crowds, and it reminds me of that old I think you might have heard it about people don't come here anymore because of the crowds. So when other people see the crowds, we see income for Metro. Some of the council members earlier talked about other buildings that are owned by Metro and whether they're using initiative, whether they are putting new events in their facilities. That is a capstone of what the chairman, Elliott, has said to us. You realize that we hosted recently U.S. Soccer. This has moved Nashville to a world stage. Because of U.S. Soccer, the spokesman for U.S. Soccer, Neil Booth, said about why Nashville. As always, lots of factors are in play when selecting international matches. He said facility availability, locker room space, enough for 4 teams, other events preceding the match that might rip up the field, frequency of U.S. Soccer visits, type of surface, seating capacity, weather, travel logistics, etc. LP Field checked all the right boxes. So I congratulate council on its continued support to LP Field. The field's in great shape. LP provided a world-class staff that made sure that the event was successful. It was highly successful. These kinds of activities Nashville is hosting now as never before, and we've almost got recalcitrant in understanding why it's important that Nashville continue this trajectory. Butch Spearden, President, Nashville Convention and Visitors Bureau, on why Nashville. 20 years ago, Nashville was being compared to Little Rock, Charlotte, and Austin. Now we're measured by New Orleans, Los Angeles, Orlando, and Dallas. When we measure our facility against other like facilities, we have consistently outperformed them as it relates to customer satisfaction surveys. Our stadium has one of the lowest percentage ticket prices of any in the NFL. Mr. Chairman, I want to pause now and close my comments by saying the Nashville Predators, Councilman Tigert, who has been a supporter since day one, had an outstanding season. 25 sellouts. It's a record for a new city with a franchise. 25 sellouts. 5 postseason sellouts. It's phenomenal that the people of Nashville are supporting not only football, but hockey, soccer, and other events. Nearly 2/3 of the attendees at all the Bridgestone Arena events, 65%, come from outside of Davidson County. 84% for concerts and 57% for Predator games. Further demonstrating the economic impact is over and beyond Metro. It is a community-wide that takes in 8, 10, 15, 20 different counties that enjoy the largesse of the opportunities that are available to us and to the citizens of Nashville. Mr. Chairman, again, in closing, I really didn't mean that. In closing, I want to highlight that one of the mayor's initiatives 2 years ago was to have the Sports Authority, and Chairman Elliott led the charge to talk about how can we make our buildings more efficient, and how can we look at this, the greening of the United States. What can you do to make your building more efficient? Because of that effort, we will shortly be opening an 8-station, solar-powered electric vehicle charging station located on LP Field. It will be the first, to my knowledge, for Nashville, and through the support of council and the activities that we undertake to keep Nashville first, again, I want to thank you for your support and pause if there are any questions about our specific budget.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Chairman Elliott, Councilman Tigert, you're recognized.
Thank you. And just an update, I assume the upgrades to LP Field financed by the seat user fee are going on time, on budget?
That's exactly right. They're on time and on budget. We'll have them ready. The construction is pulled off because we've got thousands of fans that are here for country music, the music festival. So we stopped construction for a few days. It'll start again. We're going to make our goal of having express elevators, world-class, high-definition flat-screen TVs, a communication system that our fans will love, fan-friendly areas under the stadium that are covered and climate-controlled, additional concession stands. These are all the things that our fans...
Paid for by the fans using the facility?
Paid for by the fans using the facility.
Okay. It seems like there was some discussion or movement toward similar type model, business model inside Bridgestone Arena, seat user and upgrades necessary. Could we get an update on that?
There's not an update to share with you tonight, Councilman Tigert. Negotiations are ongoing on that issue. We feel very strongly that the mayor's initiative to make our facilities pay for themselves and for the users of the facilities to pay for themselves, to incentivize our management team. The management team would be those people like, it's called Cumberland Stadium, Inc., which you think of as the Titans, and Powers Management, which we think of as the Predators. The incentives put in place by the administration have been to incentivize those individuals to find new ways. And what's happened is they have responded in kind and doubled the bookings. So when you look at the buildings, it's a very complicated business to have hockey on one night and monster racing on the next. But the staff has learned how to do that and turn those buildings. So turn the building and use it for the next event. Becoming very, very good at that. The net benefit is to citizens of Davidson County because that's hotel rooms, that's sales tax, that's seat user fee.
Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook, because if I'm going to talk about venues and locations that require subsidy, obviously you all have provided, the Predators have provided the economic impact, which helps justify the taxpayer expense for the building. Mr. Sconey doesn't have all those resources to present that data. He tried to lead us down that path, and certainly there is an economic impact there. So I would still encourage, although things are much better, more events and whatnot, that we will not be satisfied, the taxpayers, until we can make that building operate at a profit or closer to a break even, and then we can turn to these taxpayers and say, when you look if the difference in this city with or without the arena, the Bridgestone Arena, clearly the jobs creation, the economic impact, the sales tax, all the factors that you see a restaurant on a Thursday night that would be empty except on a Predators night or a concert night, and you see that restaurant full, you know that there's some benefit to all the citizens of Nashville by people out there spending money in our town. So just keep working and keep us informed of the progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Bednay, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you. Well, believe it or not, I used to play soccer. I can't anymore, but I'm very passionate about it. And there is a lot of people in Nashville that are as well, even in surrounding communities. So I wonder if what are you doing to try to foster local soccer tournaments, create an environment for not so much to bring big teams from overseas, but the local leagues, to try to create an environment to encourage that to flourish and to get better.
Councilman, one of the things that happens is when you have a community that has world-class events, individuals who normally would not get to participate in those events do so. Often you'll see our youth soccer taking center stage at LP Field. They get to meet the U.S. government officials and others. The local organizers are part of the community welcome committee. They provide volunteers. So there is an intricate dance that takes place in hosting a big event that would not happen were those events not held here. What we're seeing is a strengthening of the involvement between local individuals, amateur soccer, if you will, and U.S. soccer that never existed before.
Thanks.
Council Lady Dow, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just had a quick question to ask. I know in the past they used to host the NBA exhibition games. Are there any thoughts to going back and hosting those types of events? I know that the years that I attended, they drew out a pretty sizable crowd and seemingly generated revenue, and I just haven't seen those offered in a while.
I think you're right. What we have done, I think successfulully, is gone with activities that are income generators for us. And for that reason, we will host the NCAA 2014 Women's Final Four. Vice Mayor Diane Neighbors and Margaret Bim serve as vice chairs in the host committee, and they're more than halfway toward meeting their goal. To put this in perspective, prior to 2013, Nashville did not have the kinds of facilities that are needed to host this kind of events. So though we may not have NBA basketball activities, we certainly have NCAA and SEC activities, and they play to our strength. And part of that reason is that the convention center has elevated our image to another level. And you will see announcements going forward where there are activities throughout the United States where we always envied the various award shows. They're starting to migrate to Nashville. So all I know is I look at the trajectory, Councilman Tygart, on the bottom line within the buildings, and I understand the concerns that you've indicated, and rightfully so. But I look at the part that we control, and that's the revenue side, and it is, I don't want to put the wrong spin on it by using vernacular, but it's off the charts. The trajectory is fantastic. The future is very bright for Nashville.
Councilman Claiborne, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for being here. I just have one question. The operation of the arena is spectacular, as you say, and what has happened just since I've been on the council in 2007 in terms of the way it's moved forward in hosting events and the notoriety that it's gained is just tremendous. That's a model that is to be admired. Using that as a basis, when we gave to the arena or to the stadium the okay for the funds to do the upgrades a few months ago, we were promised that the stadium would be used for more events that would produce revenue for downtown businesses. Is there a calendar currently being developed where those promised events are being talked about, contracted, and logged in?
There is a calendar that's being developed. As you know, negotiations for events and activities is very proprietary between the private management groups that we have and the individuals that we're inviting to be there. All the indications that I've heard are positive. The concrete indication for me on additional use for the stadium can be seen in a recent vote by the Metro Sports Authority to allow the Cumberland Stadium Inc. /Titans to build a performance stage in the building. That signals to me, at their expense, that signals to me that they are revving up, that they're getting ready to really show the fans something that they haven't seen in the 15 plus years. So,
Let me add to that. We have one of our board members, Kim Atkins, who we've asked to work very diligently with the team of managers at LP Field to help bring more events here and get more on the calendar. So we are aware of the suggestion that was made, and we are working on that. That's right.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, and but it is, this council voted to move forward and partner with the stadium to allow those kinds of improvements to take place. And as I said, the promise was made, we're going to do more than we have done. We realize that we haven't done all that we could, and we're going to do better, we're going to do more. So the council is expecting that promise to be made good on.
Councilman, as you realize, we host council members. We invite them to come through and do tours of facilities so they can familiarize themselves with a very complicated tourism, leisure time operation. I cannot tell you how serious we take the comments from you on the record and the private sidebar conversations when Councilman Tiger calls me and says, you need to take care of something. We appreciate that. We couldn't be more supportive of council in giving us that counsel. And I tell you that Chairman Elliott takes promises made and promises kept very seriously.
Councilman, if I might just add two quick things to that. I would point out that, as Mr. Edwards already mentioned, you had, since that dime, they had the soccer matches, which were a new event to Nashville, and you have the, not only CMA, then followed CMA, you have the Kenny Chesney, somebody else, Tim McGraw concert 2 weeks after CMA. So that's 200% increase over the number of other events the prior years. And the Titans have added some staffing to who part of their job is to look for these events. So you're right, you need to be accountable, but there is good movement in that direction. I just want to point that out.
The soccer match, we've had the soccer match once before.
You've had ongoing soccer matches, but this
Yes.
this was the first time you had the U.S. Olympic team here, and it was a 3-day event, which is, again, didn't draw as good as we wanted it to, but it puts us on the map for future events and things of that nature. But it's the willingness of the Titans to be more aggressive, and that was just indications of that. I agree. I'm not saying it's a done deal, but everybody's moving in that direction, and I think they ought to get some credit for doing a better job than they did before, and they recognize that they did not do it. Yeah,
the Chesney concert is the first major step in that direction.
That's right. You're right, sir.
Council Lady Gilmore, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just had a question about the other revenue. You have a section called, I guess not revenue, other expenses, just what some of those would be on, let's see. Okay, on page I-37, just trying to figure out what some of those total other operating expenses are.
Do you have that in front of you?
I do.
Okay.
Yes, the majority of them. It just
Well,
gives no
what you see
explanation.
from one year to the next may well be, and I can get detail on it, but what we see are expenses that flow in and out because of capital improvement in those buildings and their commitments that Metro has made to keep its building up.
Okay.
So if you have a specific number, and if you'll point that out to me, I will get you the detail on what may.
Yeah, it just says operating expenses, and it's nothing within it. It seems like it's the bulk.
Look back 2 pages.
Or I guess the total others, okay. That still doesn't
Okay.
answer it.
Councilman, if you're looking at the 54, that's a insurance fee that's passed on to us. But
Right. I'm just talking about the 391,100. Just, it seems like that's the bulk of it. Just wanted to get an idea of what those other expenses were.
Well,
Yeah, I've got it right here.
got it, we're on page I-37.
37, yeah.
Fiscal year 2013, 391 for other expenses. I think that's right, yeah, I think that's right. Scope of pay. I don't have the answer for you. I think, as the councilman pointed out, that is a salary and offices.
Okay, because the
expense item.
personnel services says 185 at the top. That's fine, you can get back. I just wanted to have an idea of what that was.
Happy to provide that for you.
All right then, thank you.
You can tell that I grew up on the marketing side of business rather than on the financial side, and I'd be happy to get that for you.
Councilman Tiger?
Yeah, I did want to tell Councilman Claiborne and Councilman Bedney about an event. I don't even know if the Sports Authority knows, because Boots Donnelly and the RBI youth, not RBI, what's Boots Donnelly's group? Backfield in Motion. The Titans will be hosting on August 2nd and 3rd about 135 youth football teams on Friday night and all day Saturday, sandwiched around a controlled Titan scrimmage. And this is a chance for the youth throughout all Middle Tennessee. It's a fundraising event, but it's a chance for the kids to actually play 25 minutes, their team, on the field. So that was an opportunity that was taken and presented to the Titans, and they jumped on it, and it's a celebration of youth football that we're going to do this fall. And certainly we could do something with youth soccer leagues, I would think, in the spring to get more kids out on the field and just a chance to participate in the big time. So there are more stuff going on. Even the mayor's hosting the exercise event.
Mayor's Field Day at the LP Field, and there's going to be they announced a 5K run that goes around the stadium and ends up on the 50-yard line, I think on August 5th, I believe.
Councilman, to that point about changes that are taking place at LP Field, we're excited about our new collaborative effort with Metro Parks and the opening of Cumberland Parks on the riverfront, part of the mayor's and council's initiative to redevelop that. It's an exciting park. We invite you to come out and see it. We enjoy a working relationship with Metro Parks, bar none, that's been spectacular. I don't know if you realize that Metro Parks has always owned the dirt around around LP Field. They've always been the organization that makes sure that our facility looks really well. Going forward, there'll be restaurants and other kinds of revenue generating activities in I refer to as the Nabrico building, the Ingram Barge building, that's going to be activated very soon.
The only request that you have not followed up on is my last 10 years when I've offered to help judge the Titans cheerleader competition. You've not allowed me to participate. So.
That's probably for the best. Council Lady Dow, you're recognized.
Thank you, and I'll be quick with this, but since Charlie went on with his question, I thought I'd ask a follow-up. I wasn't really clear about your answer with regard to whether or not the city's going to look into hosting any more NBA exhibition games. I know you talked about the NCAA tournament, but I was specifically interested in the NBA teams.
It is an area that I don't have any knowledge on. I will ask that question and find out specifically what our response is to your question.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Council Lady Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Quick question. Has there been any more follow-up since the study of the Sufferdale and just recommendations for that?
There are discussions that are external to the Sports Authority as it relates to placement of a baseball stadium for Nashville. We're interested in, whenever those discussions get to the point that parties come to us and say, would you like to be involved in this? Now, I really want to be very specific about, my granddad told me before, you really shouldn't speak on something that you don't get a vote on. And I thought that was good advice. So I don't know about the other discussions in Davidson County on location for site. But on the one that we get to vote on, we would be interested in any of the talks about how do we use the footprint of LP Field as a potential site going forward for baseball.
Seeing
But
no
we're not
other-
involved in those discussions on siting, so.
Seeing no other members wishing to be recognized, Mr. Edwards, Chairman Elliott, we do appreciate you being here and appreciate your patience with us waiting so long.
Okay,
Thank you.
very much.